National Commission or Provincial Commission of Correctional Service were there. Those officials, they had to go and hash the plan and report to the Interministerial. How are they going to do what the Interministerial, under instruction of the President, had to do?
So it was a multidisciplinary team that was going to be established.
Indeed.
From different departments.
Exactly so, exactly so. But most prominently would have been the police and prosecutors, because prosecutors had to direct the investigations. But one department that is not mentioned now and again that played a prominent role was correctional service. Why correctional service? Because people arrested, they still gave direction from prisons who to eliminate and all that. The only cutoff was to take people to Kokstad, so which is a prison where you can't communicate with anybody. So the Minister of Correctional Service had to make the way and open that most of people that are arrested under this killing must be taken there. The other thing that was requested there, these cases were delaying, so was if we could get the special courts to deal with them so that they're gone through and then people are arrested and all that. So these departments were really working together, from the ministers to the top officials and down to the real team that was working down there.
General, can I just refresh your memory? Can you go to Annexure BC2, which is on page 11. It's an annexure.
Annexure.
BC2 on page 11.
BC2.
You got it?
I'm actually the annexure. Oh, okay.
You see, those are described as speaker notes by the Minister of Police, Becky Kele, political killings, and it is dated the 3rd of, is that August? 3rd of August, 2018. Do you want to run through that? Because this would have been immediately or shortly after, no, not immediately, shortly after the establishment of the task team. So you'll see a number of very relevant aspects of the Interministerial Committee dealt with there, to refresh your memory.
Yes, I do see. And as you read down that, the team comprises of 126 members led by acting provincial commissioner, Lieutenant Mkhwanazi, and Brigadier Ngwenya and Khumalo. The National Prosecuting Authority has also dedicated 16 experienced, seasoned prosecutors. So from there on, the team kicked in as the interministerial or a multidisciplinary approach. So others would follow, like courts, but this one immediately kicked in.
And at the and subsequent to this, the Mkhwanazi and Khumalo, they would report on a 2-yearly base, or they would report to the Interministerial Committee twice a year on progress or on what they were doing, and you would then hold a press conference, the IMC, and you were because you're the key person involved as Minister of Police, you would then address the media based on the reports you were getting from the political killings task team.
Well, there were several of these briefings. people responsible will be invited to go
So
down.
if you're there, you can see, I'm referring to, go to page 16 also of the annexures,
Page 16.
annexure BC3, starts on page 15, and you can, there's a summary of the media briefings
Yes.
and your
Yes.
statements on page 16, 21 May 2018, 3 August 2018, that's the one you've just referred to, 13 September 2018, March 2019, June 2021, February 2022, 6 September 2023, and I think your last press briefing was in March. It's not here, but in March 2024, that was the last press briefing.
Well, initially, these briefings were intense because of the work starting, but as the work happens, they become a bit slowly. But the members of the IMC will go and be briefed. Mostly will be briefed by the officials of the departments, having been briefed by the task team. There will be members of the task team, especially the higher echelons like Kumalo, like Gwenya, like Mkwanas, and all that, and those that would have been invited, and the prosecutors and the people from correctional service. I remember that Nele would be there. So that's how it would happen, and then there would be a media briefing. The media briefing, most of the time, it would not be Ele sitting alone. There would be other members of the task team sitting there and giving update of what has happened with the task team going down, and that last meeting would be the 5th of September 2023. But that was not the last activity. The team itself was invited, the PKTT. I saw some N on it now. I'm not sure about it. So
Minister Nkunu put the N there
Okay.
in front.
I don't know N. So there are two things towards the end, towards the election, that this team was doing. There's a major operation that they do at Kwanongoma, where Mpangazita comes from, where in the municipality, they have arrested the municipality manager, the finance manager, and the supply chain manager. They are all arrested by this team. So I had a lady called Diaz asking.
Before you get to the
Yeah.
lady called
Okay,
Diaz,
fine.
Can I please interject you?
Okay.
You referred also to the 5th of September. That's 2023. That's an important meeting, an interministerial committee meeting. Can I refer you to paragraph 47 on page 17 of your statement?
Right. But this is 17. Okay.
Because this is important in the context of Minister Nkunu's evidence or contention that the PKTT had been dissolved,
Okay.
and that it was, according to him, an illegal, unlawful structure since 2022. So just talk us through some decisions that were taken at that meeting on the 5th of September, and who was in attendance.
But I'm sure the whole minutes could be available. So, present in that meeting, I think it was Tele, Lamola, Matlala, and Dise and the Premier of KZN apologized. So that was interministerial then. And then I think 4 resolutions, that is on the 5th of September. It was attended, it was Lamola, Matlala. But if you go to resolutions,
Yeah.
47.1, the first resolution was that Minister Lamola would engage the NPA on the matter of dedicated courts for political killings, which means there are activities of this committee that are still going on, have not been accomplished. One of them is this court issue. The second one is, the second resolution was the Minister Lamola was to deal with the issue of transfer of prisons to Kokstad prison. There was a problem there. They will be transferred, and unknowingly to the team and the investigating officer, somebody will take them back to where they come from and continue with their activities. So the minister had to deal with this, that those that are taken to Kokstad, they stay in Kokstad. Fourth one was that, third one, resolution was the success of the PKTT would be communicated in the media briefing to be held on behalf of the IMC. The media briefing eventually took place on the 6th, 2023. Obvious. 4, the final resolution was that the PKTT could not dissolve and that it must continue. That is the 5th September 2023 decision taken by the Interministerial.
Okay. So, what is your response to Minister Mchunu saying that the PKTT was disestablished?
By who?
Already since 2022.
Disestablished by who?
Well, it's not quite clear what he's saying, who said so. I think we have asked him, I think honourable members of the committee asked him, and that it's an illegal structure.
The President instructs the ministries. The ministers go there. The ministers call their relevant top officials of the department to bring all components together. They come together. The team is formed. The team starts the work, and will agree. Maybe you are not going on details of the success and all that. It continues up to the end of the 5th administration. Comes the 6th administration. It continues, and these interministerials, as these ministers, the new under the ministries, they are there, and it goes for election 2024. This is there. I don't remember anywhere as the chair and those that we're working with talking about dismantling this team at all. What I would also remember is that, I guess, if I'm not mistaken, on the 7th of March 2024, the same team went to brief the president about the activities that they were doing in Fort Hare, since it was requested by the president to look at the matters of, we can come how it came about on that one. So this is now March 2024. We're going for election March, May. So this team is still active. I don't remember anywhere as a person that was almost involved at all in the understanding of activities. I don't remember the team being disbanded until I saw the letter that was written on the 21st December.
The 31st of December.
31st of December, when we're drinking and dancing.
Now, your view is captured at paragraph 49 on page 18.
Paragraph 49.
Yeah, on page 18 of your statement.
Okay. Yes, it is there. That's how.
You
that's how I look at
you want to read that into the record?
In my view, PKTT was established by the IMC under the leadership of the President, and therefore only the IMC could disestablish it. I have heard in these proceedings the submission that no IMC had been established under the 7th administration. I submit that this argument is incorrect. The IMC consists of ministries that form the multidisciplinary team, not the political incumbents, the ministers, who may change with each administration. The IMC, therefore, continued to exist even under the 7th administration. The Minister of Police, therefore, had to consult with the IMC that had established the PKTT before deciding to disband it. Any disestablishment of PKTT would also have to be done in consultation with the departments that form part of the steering committee of the IMC that had oversight over the PKTT. I can add to say there is also a JCPS cluster. If maybe it's not very clear with the existence, JCPS cluster, which Minister of Justice and Minister of Police are co-chairs. It could have been discussed there. Maybe if really it doesn't, it could have been, the clearance could have been sought from the President that there is this, what do I do, does it exist or not? But you cannot just one swallow that makes summer here. Which is a Minister of Police that does not take on board the rest of everybody that is there to talk about this thing. I'm not going to make a conclusion whether it's illegal. I'm not a lawyer, but procedurally, I do not agree with it. The way that it has come through, it should have reversed the same way back. That will be my argument.
We're going to go now to the Minister's Directive of 31 December. But just to round off on whether or not the PKTT is still in existence, you recall having I'm not sure whether you call it a discussion or just out of interest, that you spoke recently with the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, and on her, as it were, job description, the PKTT was still one of the functions allocated to her as Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development.
Well, as you minister, you join, I think your officials will take you through. And it starts with maybe the handover from your predecessor. The time is short. It took me 2 hours with my successor, so there is a lot of things. But then you go to the officials of that department, and then they will tell you the duties. It does. Hearing from Minister Kubai, it still does come through as one of her jobs to be part of the IMC on this one. That would be my latest information.
The directive of the 31st of December 2024, you'll find it next to your statement as Annexure BC4 on pages 49 to 50. Have you got it there, General?
Yeah, I have it. Thanks.
When did you first see or hear of or were told about this directive, and what was your reaction, your response?
Chairperson, there is a funny chain here. I don't know how I got in the group of Michelle. I'm in that group.
A WhatsApp group.
It's WhatsApp group.
You be careful of these WhatsApps.
I never write, but most of these things come from that Marshall thing.
Who's all on that group?
Marshall and his husband and her husband,
Yeah.
Morgan. So those are expensive, but there are other ones. I think it's Huela, and then there are people that they correspond with. There is hashtag Minister of Police. There is hashtag Adams, I think is a member of Parliament. There was a hashtag chair of Portfolio Committee. I don't know if he's still there, but he was also corresponding very closely with Michelle. So this Michelle, so you get these things, but because I don't write, I don't say anything and all that, I don't think they are aware that I'm there and reading these things. Some of them are big about me personally, that how criminal I am. So, but I don't ask anybody. I sit and I look how criminal I am, and so keep quiet. But Michelle, you know, we'll come to that letter that was written by Meriti Haas, writing National Commissioner on the 22nd of January, asking him, why have you not implemented the instruction of the minister? This is Diaz writing National Commissioner. And that letter, I think it was 12 hours that it was also on Michelle. But Michelle is quite big. So I received these things from Michelle. I hope they won't disestablish me now out of...
Not immediately anyway.
Out of, because it provides a good information, what's the thinking about this hashtag minister, him, and they also pray and all the, sometimes they speak a lot of Sotho, so then I'll have a problem, but when they speak English and all that. So when I saw this letter, I said, but this can't be. This can't be. There are three elements there, which is a border issues, no much discussions. One can come on that if it needs be. There is a crime intelligence, which had no discussions much about it. One can come on that, which can be. The real one that has taken the center stage is a PKTT. So when I looked at the letter, I said, but this can't be. The letter opens 3 political task giving. The first word is in 2019, which is wrong. In 2019, that is wrong. A directive was made to the National Commission of Police following Morano Commission. That is wrong. There is no direction made to the national. The direction was made to the Interministerial. That then invited other people. And it was not after Morane. It was after the president has made an announcement in Maritzburg. Later it came to Parliament, but earlier has made that standing on a white hippo, saying these ministries must go there. So this Morane can't be correct. Then they say it's flowing from there. The Interministerial Task Force be established, and it's not the force, it's the Interministerial Committee. The key mandate was correct: stop, investigate, resolve unresolved matters, which is a stabilization of the situation. That one is correct. My observation in this regard, which should not be the individual observation, it should be the observation of the committee, I guess. Is that further existence of this team is no longer required, nor is it adding any value of policing in South Africa. I therefore direct that the political task team be disestablished immediately. Further, that a preliminary report in this regard be submitted to the minister by the 20th. Observing it, if it were me, I would have said, give me the report on the 20th of this task team. And armed with the report, then I would know what decision I'm taking. But to dismantle and run the report, what is the report for now? Because the decision is taken. But it goes on to say, this is 20th of January. The final and closing report must be submitted to the Ministry Management Executive Committee meeting in January 2025, the date of which will be communicated as soon as possible. It does look like there is an issue with this January. Well, the letter is written few hours before January. Yes, it's December, but it's 5. We are just to come to January. The letter is written, and then give report 20th January. I don't know if the letter did come, the report, but 22nd of January, Mary Diaz writes the letter to the National Commissioner, and Moses, asking him,
Sorry.
have you done
General,
what...
Sorry, Honourable Chair, can I just point out to honourable members that there is a small... Sorry, there's a little bundle with 2 documents attached. The Mary Diaz letter of 22 January 2025, page 1 to 2, and then there's an article on political killings, political interference, which is written by a Christine, but quotes extensively Professor De Haas. Have you got that, General? That's the letter you're referring to.
Yes, I do have that letter. I do have that letter. National Commissioner Self-Lieutenant General Masimula pre-email good. That is 22nd January 2025. The headline says, your failure to follow ministerial instruction and disband the political killing team is impacting negatively on the crucial policing work in KwaZulu-Natal. So that is a letter which I think paragraph 3 says, according to a report I have just received. I don't know you received this report from who? Mary Diaz. From concerned police or from concerned members, detectives in KZN cannot take exhibits to Pretoria laboratory because there are no funds to travel, the funds allegedly having been diverted to the political killing team, leaving crucial evidence, e.g. drugs, firearm, DNA, and cell phones in the province contaminated. 4, in other words, if these allegations are true, the Provincial Commission KZN is complicit in ignoring instructions given by the Minister and obstructing regular policing activities in KwaZulu-Natal. Please investigate and report to the Minister and Parliament immediately. Immediately.
So you were saying, you were somehow suggesting that there's a whole confluence, a whole getting together of factors in January 2025 i- immediately, shortly after the directive of 31 December 2025, which you found quite...
It does look like there was something about January. I don't know what is it. But my take with all this process, Chairperson, it starts with Mary writing the letter on October. And I found some similarities of the content of the letter, because this immediately is also there in that letter. if I'm not
That
mistaken.
letter's on pages 51 through to 58.
That is October. So then there is a discussion of a certain stain on his written opinion piece, if it is opinion piece. Very excited to say the minister or the professor has instructed the national commissioner to disband. And 31st January happens, 31st December happens. And January, Mary, who wrote in October, comes back now, not to the minister now, to the national commissioner. The report must come on the 20th. Mary is very close to understanding whether the report has come on the 20th. But 22nd, we are bad. She's asking if that has been done. So it's my take, my genesis of my problem with this is Mary having played quite a big role. I must admit, the Kwana's allegation at the later stage of cartels and all that, I don't understand that much until I hear from Kwana's and what is happening. But my take is that I've seen Mary driving this process of disestablishment of this. I don't know what is her interest. Maybe it does link with the later one. I don't know. So people can check. But also, I find that January has something to do with the disestablishment. That's my take on this process, essay.
Yeah, but we also see that in a subsequent letter, in fact, we also, I think I've checked. Excuse me, Minister. It's the same. It's the same. If you go to page 60, go to BC 7, General. Which is on page 65.
Page 65.
To 70.
Right, yes.
Yeah. Where she makes, if you go to the bottom, well, the document which appeared in the KZN Monitor, it starts off with reference to the 31 December 2024 Minister Mkunu's directive. And then she says, a few lines in, it seems though that the ministerial instructions are not being followed, as certain apparently specifically selected members have not been redeployed to the units from which they were seconded, and that at least one new case has been opened by one of these members. Information has been forwarded to the Minister's office. So it seems as if she's privy to information that's been forwarded to the Minister's office. Then
Yes, well,
in the last paragraph, she said there was no good reason for establishing this team in the first place. You see that? And then on page 66, the second paragraph, contrary to constitutional principles of transparency and accountability in government, questions about the structure and command of the team have never been answered. Would you agree with that statement?
Which one is that, yes?
So,
Which
General,
statement is that?
page 66, the second paragraph, the first few lines, where she says that questions about the structure and command of the team have never been answered.
Yes, I do.
And then she refers to you. She says, when soon after it started operating, questions were posed to team members about who was in charge. The response was that it was then Minister Cele. When the Police Portfolio Committee was asked about it, the late Jumat Peterson claimed not to know about what was happening. However, she agreed that the minister should not be operational. Despite ongoing complaints, no interventions to remedy matters followed. When the team was initially established, a detective was in charge, but even at that stage, members were coming and going. When the detective retired, then Brigadier Khumalo was put in charge by Cele.
Well, I met Khumalo when the team was established.
2018.
2018, I didn't know him before that. He was a brigadier. Very few, I think Mkwanas was a brigadier, and among the brigadiers, I would know him and maybe those that were in communication. But brigadiers are quite far to know them all. So Khumalo, I didn't know him. That's the first one. The second one, SC. Ministers of police are just unlucky. They appoint nobody. They appoint nobody. Even the national commissioners, they don't appoint them. The president does. And then the commissioners appoint the structure as per the constitution of command and control. So there is no minister. If I have any...
we discussed this, but in terms of the Police Act, the minister appoints the head of the Hawks.
Yeah, that's the only person,
But
according
no
to the
other
law,
appointments
is
you
the
say
only
are
person
made by
that
the
you
minister.
appoint, yes. So that the Hawks. But when it comes to the South African Police Service and all that, that is... so Cele could not then have been appointed Khumalo. Even if Cele wanted to appoint Khumalo, had to explain to the rest of the ministers that were part of the Interministerial, what is this? So the issue of Khumalo, knowing him, whether it's investigator, whether it's in crime situation or crime intelligence, really I wouldn't know. This is a researcher talking. So she can't just research that ministers don't appoint an accomplished researcher. She can't research that and know that ministers don't appoint when it comes to police. So the chairperson, there is even the issue of DTGs. I explained who Lieutenant Generals are. They are DTGs. In government, DDGs are appointed by cabinet. So DDGs, you motivate, you interview, and you submit to cabinet, and the cabinet agrees or disagrees. But not with the police. The commissioner announces in the morning that you are now Lieutenant Colonel. So you are Lieutenant General. And I think when I was a national commissioner and became the minister, I raised it to say I find it far-reaching that a single person can appoint a DDG. DDG is very senior. So if he's appointed by you alone, really he will save his job by respecting you and not doing his job. I think it's even unfair to the DDGs to be appointed in that simplest way and all that kind of thing. Maybe it is on that score that my predecessor, Matlala, came with the regulations that commissioner can appoint at the level from Major General in concurrence with the ministers. So that came because there would be many generals around here that you don't know when they came about and all that. But this concurrence does not then stop the commissioner, which is his constitutional and legislative prerogative to continue and do it. So, fairly coming to appointing Khumalo when he can't even appoint Masimula, a researcher must know that, especially if it is an accomplished
She claims
researcher.
that you appointed Khumalo also as the head of SAP's crime intelligence in 2022. And she questions how he could be the head of intelligence, crime intelligence, and also the head of the task team.
As I've said, that maybe that could be answered by a person who appoints those people, which happens to be a national commissioner.
Okay. Now, what is also, because I suppose at this stage you can only suspect that Professor De Haas has some or other role to play in the ministerial directive of 31 December. But what is also quite interesting is that yesterday when the Minister Mkhunu concluded his evidence, he made two recommendations to this honourable committee. One of them is that the three oversight bodies currently in place at as part of the overall security apparatus, IPID, IDEC, DPCI, that these bodies should all be merged.
What paragraph is there?
Yeah, I'm just paraphrasing, but you'll find it at page 52, which is in her letter of 31 October 2024. This is one of those letters which the minister says informed, amongst other things, not everything, there's a whole range of things, but this is one of the letters that informed his decision of 31 December. But here she says, if it were feasible, it would be to establish an ombuds oversight body headed by a retired judge of integrity and extensive experience in the field of criminal and policing matters. So that's the one, and then the other recommendation you'll find in her piece in the KZN Monitor on page 69 and 70, that where she says on page 69 at the bottom, the dismantlement of this task team has been long overdue, but the continuing irregular activities ignoring a legitimate ministerial instruction requires sanctions to be brought against his leadership. The next step must also include a full audit of the expenses, including whether they are being met from provincial budgets or even from crime intelligence services, which Kumalo also heads. So that would you also find that interesting? There seems to be a correlation between what she contends, claims in her writings, and decisions taken by Minister Mchunu.
But further reading there says Parliament, the Minister and the Auditor General
Yes.
must demand full financial accountability for all the money which has been
Yeah,
spent.
she demanded
on
that the
task team.
Auditor General do a full
I think
audit.
those were last recommendations made yesterday. They tally with what is coming from what Mary Dihas is saying.
Yeah. Did you speak to Minister Mchunu about his directive of 31 December 2024?
Well, I had the comfort of handing over to Minister Mchunu. I think we spent about 2 hours at Bachais. As I left the office, I said, I'm a phone away. This could be a difficult environment, I must say. That environment is difficult and energy sapping to be a Minister of Police.
Energy sapping.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's energy sapping. It's one of the most difficult jobs to be a Minister of Police. So I said, you pick up and you talk. Well, that did not happen. I don't think I've ever received the call. Until I see these things and I approach him somewhere in January in one of the meetings to say, I see these letters from Auntie Mary. Can we talk about it so that we see how they go? Because my main fear was a wrong genesis of the letter he has written. That the genesis of the letter was wrong. There is no morale here and all that kind of thing. There is no 2019. So maybe if the better information comes, and I don't think I was entertained. I was told that the process is going to continue and no stoppage. And I think the 13th in Kailisha, I went to the president and said, Mr. President, can you pull us together with Minister Mchunu, maybe yourself or just 2 of us, to take one through on the matters.
So that was on January 8th?
Yeah, but January 8th was
When
on
you
January
met with the
13th.
president?
It was on 13th, not 8th. And then there was no comfort in trying to have that communication. So, indeed, then we did not talk about the matter.
Okay, Senior Counsel, may we afford Honorable Malema a chance?
Chair, I was asking if someone has got a picture of Mary Dihasi to put it there. Auntie Mary.
Mbangazita, do you want to respond to?
Yes, Honorable Chairperson. I was actually saying that I've got her picture on my phone and I can volunteer to actually share it with him.
No, the indication I
Page
get is
59,
that
page 59.
the honorable member will assist the legal team to have the picture. After break, we will have it. Thank you so much.
It's not for me. I'm saying you must flight her there so the society can see this person. And Honorable Bredenbach says Google. She assumes every South African has got Google, access to Google and data.
No, we, SC,
May I continue? Sorry.
when we break, Mbangazita will help you to get that picture and before when we resume the proceedings after break, we will flight it there.
It is in the pack, Honorable Chair.
It's in the pack.
Page 59.
Yeah, but the statement which is being made is that this parliament is for the people of South Africa. It's not for us who are sitting here.
May I continue, Honorable Chair? Sorry, Minister. So you met with the minister that sometime in January also?
Yes, we're in the same meeting, but
And January the 8th, you also raised this with the president. Just tell us a bit more about your discussions with the president, or was it even a discussion?
no, absolutely not a discussion, because we're just, as I said, Mr. President, can you help? I need to speak to the minister about the political task team. If you could organize the meeting, the three of us or him and me, because I've tried, I failed. So that was the end. But I never discussed anything with the president on that matter. It was a request if the meeting could be facilitated.
Now clearly, when you heard or saw the directive, you were not in favor, or put another way, you were opposed to the disestablishment of the task team.
Two main things that would have made me opposed to it. The procedures of it, how it came about, for me it had to reverse that way. That's the first one. The second one, Chair, the letter says there's no value and has achieved nothing.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not a letter per se, but it's in the contents of Mary that has achieved nothing. He even accused that it was not supposed to be there. He should have taken president to court for it not to be there. But that it has no value and all, I would not agree. Chairperson, in that province, Pangasita would know. I'm not going to talk about him and me. But in that province, things do flare up now and again. The mandate of this team is to investigate, arrest those people, and create stability. So here they say its work either is done and all that. It's not done. There are cases there. One of the biggest cases that the team is dealing is Nongoma, where the manager, the finance CFO, and the supply chain, they are arrested. Their arrest, as Mary argues, that they are not supposed to. Their arrest comes from the matter of Councillor Mkhunu, 75-year-old. I don't know what's wrong with Councillor Mkhunu, because President announced on Councillor Mkhunu. So there's a 75-year-old Councillor Mkhunu that was killed at Nongoma of the NFP. And then when the investigation was done, it was found that the man was paid through the structures of municipality to Ingabi, to the hitman. That's why they are arrested. So that case is still under investigation. Those people are going to court. If you disband with immediate, What happens to those cases and all that kind of thing? And the further investigation. Secondly, this team must create stability. Chairperson, through you to this. Half of eThekwini councillors are guarded. Those that come from eThekwini would know. Are given protection because they fear to be killed. Mostly there would be ANC and IFP. They are still under guard. The municipality pays extra money, pays extra cars for them, pays extra SMT, pays overtime for those police. So this stability, for me, is not there. I don't know in other places, but councillors are still under guard. So which means, while a lot of work has been done, but the mission has not been accomplished. Maybe, I must say so, because there is this argument that there is a time bound for this KTT. I agree. But task teams and operations are based on two things, on timeline and the accomplishment of the mission. It's not because it's a timeline, so we say 6 months, and 5.5 down the line, people, they shoot each other. They said, yeah, guys, we said we'll stay 6, we are going. No. If the accomplishment of the mission comes early, yes, you can even go earlier. But if it doesn't, those that have authority to extend, which I guess the National Commission would do, it will be so. For me, it can't be measured with the situation that is one councillor. To me, it's a very costly measure to say, because one councillor has just been killed of late, it can go. It is. There should be stability to say, we are sure now that everybody that is causing trouble we have dealt with. KwaNongoma, there was a time when all councillors of all organizations were sleeping at Richards Bay. When the night falls, they get in a bus or taxi, they go, it's 116 kilometers away. They go and sleep there. What stabilized them to come back? There are two things. Those people who were arrested. So there's stability to Nongoma. But is that stability all over the province? No. It's not all over the province. As I'm saying, that people are guarded at eThekwini and at a big expense, the councillors. 2 months ago, when I passed at Kwamash Hostel, the councillor there, Gwala, was escorted by the police, people chasing him literally. He's an IFP councillor chased by IFP people. So don't tell me that there is a stability that you can come. So when all those people are removed, for me, then that will be established. Then the mission will be accomplished. What happens if you withdraw them and then there's a flare up again? You go and constitute them and all that kind of. So I don't agree with having no value and mission having been accomplished.
So without wanting to put words in your mouth, you seem to say that one shouldn't just evaluate or analyze the successors or otherwise of the PKTT in terms of the number of arrests, the number of prosecutions, and how many years people were sentenced to jail. But where there is a period of relative calm, it could, or in your view, that's also due to the continued presence of the task team.
But the letter itself does say the key mandate was to stop, investigate, resolve the unresolved. Resolve the unresolved, which means it is understood for the fact that people are still guarded, for the fact that an investigation in some municipalities, there are cases that are unresolved that need to be followed and resolved. Even the letter understands. So why do you then stop when the mission has not been accomplished?
What about one of the minister's reasons or arguments also that all South Africans, all of us, deserve and are entitled to protection and to be safe, and not only a selected province or a selected group of people, like in this case politicians, mostly councillors, but he points, for example, to murders here on the Cape Flats, as you well know, and in other parts of the country now, Westbury, other parts that we read about almost daily. And for that reason, it's not just or equitable to just have a political task team that's focused on one province and one category of persons.
Chairperson, is like saying you have a bread. Instead of buying the bread for those that don't have a bread, you take the bread from the ones that you all go hungry. Instead of buying the bread for those that they don't have the bread. I fully agree. We are all equal. But maybe the books that we have not equality does silently apply sometimes. Some are more equal than others. Chair, it's not true that it's only just him that takes money. From 2021, there's Operation Mkodwemvubu. That is Kwamhlabeyalingana, the cross-border crimes. In Cape Town, there is a Operation Thunder stroke Operation Lockdown, which takes, I don't have figures, but I would suspect that Cape Town one might be even taken more. When is my suspicion. For instance, if you bring 200 police from other provinces and they stay here at the cost of 800 rand a night, and then they go back and they bring the other lot, and they come with the cars. They don't just come alone. They come with the cars from those provinces and they will get SNT when they're here. They will get over time the allowance that they're not at home. I think is a lot of money. So for me then, it could not be the question of money. It should be then the question of safety of those people. To say only one councillor has been killed so it can withdraw, I hope people they're not going to say is sour grapes. So there is no minister has been shot, so withdraw the PSS. Because not one has been shot there. If your measurement is one dying, why don't you withdraw those that nobody has died? So maybe it's a sour grapes because I'm not there, I don't have the PSS. But I'm trying to show that that can't be the measurement, so that only one person died, so now you can withdraw. When you have expensive unit called PSS that is guarding safe people, and nobody talks about that. So for me, if you have the center of excellence, your effort is to expand it, rather than go and kill where you have established excellence. That would be my argument.
Honorable Sangol.
Chairperson, no, I just need clarity on this example that Minister Mkhunu is making. So he's saying because no minister has been shot, we should withdraw VIP protection for ministers. Is that the example that you are making, Minister?
No, Chairperson, I hope it's not sour grapes. I want to make this disclaimer. I'm saying, if the measurement is that we withdraw the focus in dealing with this violence because only one person has died. We can also withdraw where there is nobody that has died. There is no minister that has been killed. So withdraw from those that are not dying and leave a little bit for those that are still dying. That's what I'm saying. It's hypothetical, but that's what I'm saying. Sour grapes, I
You
know.
want to make a follow-up, Honorable Asau? No, it's well said, General. SC,
Thank you.
let's proceed.
Thank-
Proceed immediately.
Yes, sir. General Kele, is there anything else you want to comment on the directive before we move on to another topic?
Chairperson, I don't want to be unfair to Minister Mkhunu to say it's cut and dry that you can't make suggestions. But for me, it would have been more relevant to sit down with the National Commissioner and say, that's how I see things. Just to get some outside influence with a very tough language to say, you instruct. Ministers don't instruct national commissioners. We can sit down and put my ideas and say, but Minister, it is not so. Operationally, there is 1, 2, 3. I said, well, I didn't see that angle. That was a blind spot to me. But 1, 2, 3, that's how I see. So I think, Chairperson, they are quite. Let's take this PT without N. So let's take it, and you say how it came about, but further discussions. So we go to the funeral at Kwamhlabeyalingana of Judah, who was killed there, on a very, very angry funeral. They say, you go and fix this thing. So is the people there, sitting there. And the Minister of Police, they say, we are not going to talk here. Finally, they say, talk and talk what we are going to understand. Tell us how we're going to fix this thing. Minister of Police did not go and open Operation Mkotwemvubu. He went to the National Commissioner and said, we have a problem there. How can we deal with those matters? National Commissioner has a right to say, this is my way. So he needs to operationalize it. But I can't come and say, General Kumalo, as I see now, we go with. Even the commissioner, that maybe our relationship of working was not all not that warm, General is told. When the Senzo matter was done, it was General Stoll who came with the idea and the people of the cold cases. It was not minister. So for me, it does need a better work. You don't have to be friends with the National Commission. You don't have to be friends. But it does need, otherwise you end up being unconstitutional, breaking the legislation and all that kind of thing. So for me, that would help next time, that all ministers and national commissioners don't be friends, or don't be friends, drink together and all that. But remember, we are here to work together. For me, that would help.
Just good old-fashioned consultation, conversation, discussion, interaction to find a solution to a problem.
And the legislative space and constitutional space.
To be respected.
Yeah, to be respected. That maybe will come, because there was a discussion here of the devolution of powers. I thought for some reason the committee put the provincial commissioner on a political arena. For me, that was a hell of a political arena for the provincial commissioner. The constitution is very clear, says the police will investigate, combat, uphold, and enforce the law. The constitution doesn't come close of rearrangement of the constitution by the officers. I think the national commissioner there was put in a wrong arena. Unfortunately, the arena that he was put on is an ideology of some political parties. So I could see pushing him to push their ideology. I really sympathize with him.
Just briefly, what was your relationship with General Satole initially when he was the National Commissioner, and then subsequently General Masemola, who is the current Commissioner?
General Satole, we were really working, but I don't think we were warm. General Satole was appointed a month before the election of the ANC National Conference. So there was this thing of appointing a month before this happened. Mdluli was appointed a month before the National Commission comes in. Satole was appointed a month before we're going for elections, which you know that will be there for a year, but you appoint a person for next 5 years. So maybe there was that, but as we came, there was a big issue of Satole of illegally purchasing of a grabber, which looks like him and Minister Mbalule, they have agreed to purchase the grabber. The grabber is a listening device to you here. And unfortunately, it was used to me, the grabber, whatever the grabber was. But it was used. I was illegally listened by my police, led by Mdluli, from December to March 2010 to 2011. So I was listened. So it's something that happens. It's supposed to be. By the way, maybe that is another legislative that legislators will have to look at. If they want to get this 205 to listen because there is a project, what police do, they take a batch of the people they want to listen to the judge, and the judge grants the permission of the badge. But in the badge, they can put the name of anybody. That's how they did with me. They put Jabulani Mdlalose, and they put the number of Ed. So the judge approves the badge. The judge should approve the individuals. I think the law must say so that we know that this is not abused to listen people that are not supposed to be listened. So that is a legislative, maybe, because I think in the things that is supposed to happen, people will have to look at the legislative matters. The other one, before I forget, it's a law of intelligence. Chairperson, that law, I think it rests with justice. It's such cumbersome law. If the Minister of Police wants to, in his or her department, buy the equipment to work on the devices of working for information, he needs to approach the Minister of Justice. The Minister of Justice needs to invite the Minister of State Security and the Minister of Defense. And as they agree, they invite the Minister of Communication. If one minister says no, that can't work. I find it very cumbersome. That's what happened July 21. That's what happened. That that the devices that were there could not be used because one minister said no to stop the spread of July 21. So I find it a very cumbersome law. So I agree that you can't have agencies that monitor people without any kind of monitoring. Maybe only the Minister of Justice rather than the Minister of Communication and all that. So it's one law that I think as the members of the legislators, they go forward, they can look at it.
How was General Masemola appointed? And did you have any role to play or hand in his appointment?
Well, appointing the national commissioners is a prerogative of the president, but I think something happened with Masemola. President put some panel to appoint Masemola. And if I'm not mistaken, 4 generals were interviewed. That will be General Kwena from Northwest, General Masemola, General Vuma, and General was a provincial commissioner, Gauteng, Mawela. So that panel was chaired by Professor Mafumadi, Sydney, and then was Minister of Police on it, Cele. There was Minister of Education, Mutsecha. There was DG from Finance. There was DG from Presidents. And there was a former National Commissioner of the South African Police, 5 That is a panel that interviewed and they made the recommendation to the President about the employment of Masemola.
Okay. And your relationship with General Masemola?
Well, absolutely not friends. I don't even know whether he drinks or he doesn't. I don't drink alcohol. So with friends, you would know. I don't know his house and all that. But our working relationship is quite cordial. It's cordial.
On many occasions, especially in the media, but it's just for your comment. You've been accused of political interference with the operations of the police, even directing the operations of the police. What do you say to such allegations?
Well, I've heard that, but I've seen it written by Mary. I've seen it written. I think, I don't know, but there is a document where he writes to Parliament. When she writes to Parliament because of her fear.
Yes, I'm not sure whether it's the same, but she did file a ministerial, or rather a complaint to the Portfolio Committee.
Yeah, she wrote to Portfolio Committee.
I think you're referring also to Annexure BC 6 on page 59.
Page 59.
There's a handsome couple on that page.
There is a picture of
You and
Bericele
Mr. Haas.
and Mary Diaz there. Eyeball to eyeball.
Yeah, this is the letter. This is a reference to the letter she wrote to the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee, as well as to the Speaker.
This one looks like is an article
Yeah, but it references the complaint to
written
the...
by Stein based on the submission made by Mary to Parliament about. She tells Parliament that Cele is also known to have dangerous friends, including in the tax mafia industry in KZN, which is the main home of hitmen. That's how she describes Cele. There is one thing that I agree with him, that there are many Zinkabi in that province. No, I would not, I wouldn't. But he says I'm a friend of them, and she's scared of me because of, that's what she says, I'm putting on record publicly with Parliament that I believe that if what I am told by police members is incorrect, Mr. Cele Pegi is endangering my personal safety. Several weeks ago, there were media reports that Mr. Cele had been telling police members that they should not give information to the media and academics. So, talks about this, about inflammatory statements and all that kind of thing. Professor Diaz reminds Parliament that she had been monitoring and researching policing for 30 years, during which time I have consistently stood up for the rights of good police members, including the trust, and even managed to raise funds for legal assistance. She points out that her work continues to present, although I have not been able to be paid for that. Professor notes that she also needs to interact with police. This is written about Cele. By the way, he has issue with Cele in Khumalo, so she also writes a lot about Khumalo. She adds that reports on the police brutality
Honorable Ngola.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I think General Cele must either confirm or deny the allegation that he has got dangerous friends, so that we are able to beef up our security as well. Thank you.
That he has, what, dangerous what?
Chair, the General is reading an article or a letter or whatever that accuses him of having dangerous friends. So he must confirm or deny the allegation so that we know if there is a need as the committee to beef up our security detail as well. Thank you.
Did you hear that, General?
Well, Chairperson, it's direct to say I have dangerous friends in taxi mafia. So I don't have taxis. So I don't know what would put me in the taxi mafias and taxi industry if I don't have taxis. So those dangerous friends maybe are known by...
So General, she, in summary, at the bottom of page 61, she says, as for the minister's, police minister's attitude towards her, she writes, it seems that Minister Cele takes exception to my exposing the fact that his conduct is unconstitutional and illegal.
Well, Mary Diaz is an anthropologist, not a judge, to find me guilty. If it is unconstitutional and illegal, she must take me to court and be found by court to be illegal and constitutional, and must strengthen her weapons of research as an anthropologist. And don't do this. I don't think I've done anything illegal and unconstitutional, as she said.
She claims also on page 62, your allies in the police include apartheid-era police and agents, some of whom used state funds to order the assassination of Sindiso Magaka. Some CIS members have been implicated in the attempt to kill Dabizo Zulu. who Kele refused to protect. Others have been used at Kele's direction to try and track down Patricia Mashale. Kele is also known to have dangerous friends, including in the taxi mafia industry in KZN, which is the main home of hitmen. This is the environment in which I live and move around. So she says she's putting all this on record to Parliament and to the public, as I want Minister Kele held accountable for further endangering his life by his reported inflammatory utterances. This was to the Portfolio Committee. Just your comment.
Well, I don't know. It would have been nice if Portfolio had called me. But I don't remember called by Portfolio on this matter. I guess that would be the sixth. That would be the sixth administration Portfolio, because she talks of Jumati as a chair. May her soul rest in peace. So I don't. But it would have been nice, really, to come and explain, because I guess they would have called both of us, Mary and Kele, to how to her endanger. She speaks of Thabiso and Mashele. I have no time to talk about Mashele.
You are in a WhatsApp group.
Yeah, I know all what she thinks. Yeah. I can speak about Thabiso. Thabiso is a close friend, or was a close friend of Makaka, Sindiso, the former ANC secretary that was murdered. The case is in Maritzburg, and somebody has just been sentenced there. So on that case, I was taken to public protector, Advocate Mkhwebane, for refusing to protect Thabiso. Thabiso was a witness. So everybody knows that witnesses are protected by justice, not by South African Police Service. So I was found guilty by Mkhwebane, advocate, that I have refused to protect Thabiso. So I took that to review. It was reversed. It was reversed to say, but Minister of Police could not have been part of that. You should have taken Minister of Justice. Thabiso, we did speak to him that he must go to the witness protection program. He refused. He said he wants bodyguards that will take him around and all that kind of stuff. And Mary Diaz is so close, but Mary Diaz has never revealed that Thabiso was found guilty by the court of law for the abuse of a woman. But he protects him without reservation. When he has been found by the court of law of the sexual abuse, I don't know what kind of it, but that is there. So there is this double standards of Mary Diaz dealing with all of us. So for me, that would be the issue. To say I am in the taxi industry and all, there is, I think in the letter says I'm a populist, a dangerous populist, that put inflammatory state and all. Really, I don't remember, and I don't have time to go to the public platform talking about Mary. You won't give me any votes. She won't. I can talk about Onomvalo and other people, so the public platform, but I can't talk about Mary really. To whip inflammatory statement and all that kind of. I just don't know. But if you follow all her writings, they're basically about Cele and Khumalo. Cele from Khumalo. So when it comes to the apartheid, police, she must show me who is not in the apartheid police. You must show me who's there. I heard the CIC, Honorable Malema, saying Tumkwanazi is a carrier police. Yes, he's an apartheid carrier police. He's not just a police. He's an apartheid carrier police. All those police were created, not necessarily crime issues, were created to make sure that black men don't survive. No doubt about that. So whether they were South African police, whether they were Venda, whether they were Maputa Tswana, whether they were Siskai, whether they were KwaZulu police, and many of us were killed by KwaZulu police there. Whether it was Siabuswa, where Stole comes from, was a Kenelet, Siabuswa, Bantustan. So they were never created to create a safe space for South Africans, especially black South Africans. They will create space to close this. They were created to close the space that they don't breathe. By the way, deviating a little bit, I was looking at the crime stats. Crime stats were started in '96 to be announced in South Africa. There was no announcement of crime stats before then, and there were 27,000 murders. Only God knows how many were there before that. How many were there? They were not registered. Especially the death of black men in South Africa was never registered. So don't tell me about apartheid police as if they were gracious police. They were all apartheid in Bantustans. The only thing, they are human beings, they're dynamic. We have learned to work together thereafter. Wherever they come. And many of them, I must assure you, they are good police that have adapted in the new dispensation. But there are those that they have adapted and become criminals. There are those that they miss their old stations in the Bantustans and all that kind of thing. So Mary must not come to me and teach me about the Bantustan police. I know them better, what they did to me and to us, those apartheid police. And I used to report to her, Umeri, when I was abused, yes, and the professor, together with Professor Zulu, monitoring in university. I don't know what happened to him to find me in Kabi now. When I was chased by the police as an activist, I used to report to her that I was chased. So must not talk about apartheid police. We know better what apartheid police are.
Okay. So if we can just move on to another topic, General. Do you know Brown Mokgotsi? Have you met him?
No, I don't know Brown Mokgotsi.
Not even as a comrade?
No, I've just known him of late because he's quite big on media. Yeah. I think he's the biggest person on media at the present moment.
You never met him in person?
No. I haven't met Brown Mokgotsi.
He's not on your WhatsApp?
My WhatsApp?
Yeah.
No. Brown Mokgotsi is not there. I've seen him and talking how he. When I had the name Mokgotsi, that he is close to the minister, the spokesperson for the minister is Mokgotsi, but he's a lady. So I have always
the spokesperson for
the minister
Mkhulu,
yeah,
is Mokgotsi.
Yes. So, but
Just one moment. Honorable Malema.
Minister, do you have a WhatsApp?
yes, I do.
Okay, thanks.
I do have a WhatsApp that I read and never write on it. Not once in life I've written either WhatsApp or any text message. With all my years with my wife, she has never received a text message from me. Not once. she said I must not say that. So with my PA that I've worked almost 20 years, Sharon, she has never received. With Mkwanazi, whom I have a lot of written messages from him, he has never received one from me. By the way, including because I saw the war between Mkwanazi and Sibia about the question of AKA that Mkwanazi did not want to report to me. But a person who reported to me the matter of AKA was Mkwanazi, who sent me the message at about 11:30 at night. So that's why it was funny for me that he does not report to politicians when they were fighting with this SBA, when he is done. But himself, he can't show nobody, Honorable Malema, in the Republic of South Africa that can show you a written message that comes from Cel.
Yeah, no, honorable members, the secretary of our committee is showing me a list of unanswered WhatsApp texts to Gerald. Honorable Shogwe.
Thank you, Chair. I wanted to ask, what is their relationship between the two Mokhotzes, the spokesperson and the other Mokhotze? Thank you.
No, I don't know. I have no information, Honorable Member.
May I proceed, Chair? Thank you, General. But you know Kat Matlala?
Very well.
Okay.
I think
When did you first meet Kat Matlala?
I met Kat Matlala in December
Of?
last year,
2024,
2024. That's the
before the directive.
That's the first time I met Kat Matlala. December 2024. I can't remember the date, but it was after the raid.
The raid on the 8th or the 6th, the 6th of
Yeah.
December.
Because that's one thing that brought him to me.
So
You-
what is there a connection between the raid on 6th December where we know
There are,
that
issues that he raised to me about the raid.
So can you tell us, well, first tell us how it is that you came to meet him. Did you know him before that?
No, I didn't know him before that, and I don't know how it happened because the people of his stature, I would know about them, especially from what the township? From MAMS, from Mamelodi. I have had a lot of community engagement in Mamelodi, and they will raise the issues about the people that give them trouble. One person that was very prominent was Keke. There's a guy called Keke in Mamelodi. I think he's doing 20 years now, it's been said. So we went there, we had Imbizo. 27 people spoke at Imbizo. Not a single one spoke of Keke. The 27th person spoke about Keke and was given a standing ovation. And this person made a statement that I'm ready to die after speaking with Keke. So you would know that there are people like Keke and things. But nobody ever raised an issue about Matlala. Nobody. Then Bongani Mpungos, who is a son of Sputla Mpungos, who is a son of Sputla Mpungos, who comes from Nongoma or Matubatuba, where he comes from, and a very notorious taxi person. Because of my involvement as the MEC for Transport and Police. When there are problems of taxi industry, then I will meet these people. So I knew Sputla through that, the father of Bongani. So Bongani then brings Matlala to me. So I think a week or 2 weeks I've read earlier to say there is this Tembisa person who has received this 360, is it 360 or 260 amount of contract from the South African police. They came and I met them in Beverly Hills in Durban. So I met there. I think I delayed two days because Bongani, who's known as Mabonga, did not tell me that he's bringing somebody else. So as I came there, because there was a photo of Kate, I said to him, "You look like Kate." He said, "I'm one." I said to him, "Nkosiam, what's the story with you and me and all that?" So he said, "No, he have asked Mabonga to come to me because there are 2 issues he wants to raise with me."
Where were you meeting?
Beverly Hills Hotel in Durban.
The Beverly Hills Hotel.
Yes, sir. Do you know Beverly Hills?
It's a fancy hotel.
Yeah, it's a very high, it's a high-end hotel. No doubt about it. It's a high-end hotel, Beverly Hills. But we met at the dining hall there, and then he raised 2 issues. He said Mabonga must bring him to me because he realizes that he's being abused or he's being used for the political games that he do not understand. Firstly, he said he has met Minister Mkhunu, him and Brown Makhosi, 3 of them. And they spoke about him because he's got money through the tender, him to fund his project of becoming either a president or deputy president. He didn't know. Myself, I didn't know which project was it. So that's that. But
so just to be clear, so he's telling you that he met with Makhosi and with Minister Mkhunu,
yes,
and it was about the funding
of the project of becoming a president or deputy president. Okay, this is Kat telling me why he wanted to meet me. But what puzzled him there, for him to want to meet me, he was told by the minister that we'll work together so long we don't come close to Cele and Zuma. I don't know why he mixes me with Zuma. But it looks like that's what he said, that don't come close to Cele and Zuma, so we'll work well with. So that's why he says he realized that there is a game, some political games, hence wanted to see me.
Did he give any details of when they met? He met with Makhosi and with Minister Mkhunu?
No, and I did not want details myself. But he didn't. The second one was about then the raid. The raid that happened, I didn't know about the raid. As I'm saying that maybe this latter part of some members of PKTT joining Gauteng, I didn't know until Kat says to me, he wants to speak to me because he was raided. He says the people that raided him woke him up as he was sleeping and bambulingu bobati vuka. Then I realized that was a special task force. Immediately, when they come to your bathroom and they wake you up, that could be only nobody, but a special task force, those capabilities. So I realized that was this. So I asked, what has happened? No, they've raided him on matters, I think on matters of accusation of drugs and all that kind of thing. So me, where do I come in? No, he says, he comes to me because he realizes that there has been abuse. After that, he says he has been approached by Sibia, General Sibia, to write an affidavit against Kumalo, so that Kumalo can be arrested. So this cat tells me.
Which Kumalo? You
The
know
Kumalo-
quite a few Kumalos.
No, this one, the
Not
head,
Dr. Kumalo.
the head of the CI. The head of the CI, the leader of the PKTT. Yeah. He says, so why? He said, no, I've come to you because of that. But what made me really come to you is that there is a case that is coming next week where I've taken Kumalo and his team to court for unlawful raid. So the reason is that I must take Kumalo to court so that he can lose the case and the Sibia finds the way to discipline him. That is Kat telling me the story. He goes on to say he was told or stroke the affidavit of taking Kumalo was written by Sibia to say they've stolen his Rolex and the jewelry for the wife. So they must write it so that it's not just the raid, but it's also the theft. So that's why he comes to me. He says he doesn't want to take police to court because he has just got the tender. So he doesn't want to harm his relationship with police. So Mamonga told him that I know Kumalo, so I can talk to Kumalo that they resolve the matter out of court. And indeed, I did speak to Kumalo about this thing. And I guess the lawyers did talk, and the matter didn't go to court. But also what was I suggested to him that maybe it would be good if he meets Kumalo and brings Kumalo per se. I don't know if they did meet with Kumalo. But in the case, I know that did not go to court. So that's how I know Kat, and I wish I could not have met him, but now I have met him.
When did you speak to Lieutenant General Kumalo? Or was it after the meeting?
It had to be.
I'm looking at the time. We need to break immediately. But I will request the Honorable Sokanyile to place a question.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. No, I thought the former minister hasn't finished. If Matlala and so come to him to say that there is this for Kumalo, wrong affidavit, and Matlala has recently got the tender, then if they are saying that they've come to you to assist, they said to you, what are they going to give you? What was at stake for you, for them to assist? They didn't say anything.
No, they didn't say anything but giving me the stake, and I didn't want any stake. The issue was, again, not most by Matlala. It was by the person who knows me, who is a son of a person that we worked in the taxi industry. But there was no prize. I hope prize would have been called. But there was no prize. There was no prize of it.
Honorable Malema.
So, General, we understand you to be saying a son of a person you have known convened a meeting and did not warn you that he's coming with someone else. And you walked into a meeting and then you found him with Matlala, a face that looked familiar, and you immediately said to this face, "Are you not Cat?" And he was quick to agree that he's Cat, and they came to you that we thought you can help us with the following issues because we think you've got relationship with Kumal. One issue is that I'm being abused or used because I got a tender of 360 million to finance a campaign of Minister Mkhunu to become either president or a deputy president. I had a meeting with them, Mkhotsi and Mkhunu, and they can only work with me if I don't bring Kele and Zuma into the picture. And then secondly, I was raided illegally. My watch was stolen and the jewelry of my wife. And Sibia wrote an affidavit for me to sign so that if Khumalo is found guilty in court, he can be disciplined internally. And then that's the way they'll find the quickest way to get rid of Khumalo into the police. And then he realizes then that I'm being used to fight internal police battles.
Yes.
And as they articulate that, nothing has been offered in exchange for you to intervene or help them. They don't say, as a result of this intervention you're going to make, you'll get this or that. They just came to you as a well-known politician, an elder to this Mpongo's son, and they thought perhaps they can get counseling, advice, and some intervention from you. Am I correct?
I believe so.
Thank you.
Yeah. But with the one, the affidavit, you say Sibia gave to Cat to sign. I don't know whether was giving words to Cat, but the affidavit was influenced by Sibia when it was developed. It could have been written by Cat, but being instructed. Even that affidavit, I'm told, it was not even because this was happening in Waterkloof. But I'm told that the affidavit was signed somewhere in Soweto. They said there was somebody that would be easy, station commander, to sign and agree with that affidavit.
Let me check. I see the hand of Honorable Sangon. Is there any other member who wants to speak so that we can close the list? Raise your hands, those who want to speak. Okay, Honorable Sangoni, Honorable Skosana, Honorable Nomvalo, you are third and the last.
No, thanks, Chair. No, just very briefly, General. Was this Rolex and the jewelry stolen or not? So was the affidavit that Matlala deposed fake? Did he lie under oath? Because when you depose an affidavit, you make an affirmation under oath. So was the jewelry and the Rolex stolen regardless of who stole it? Or in your interpretation or understanding of the issues, he deposed a fake affidavit? Thank you.
No, I remember him very well saying there was no Rolex stolen from him. I remember him saying so. That's why he raised the issue of him being. But the issue was that they had to find the way of dealing with Khumalo. That's why I always think that even the arrest of Khumalo at the later stage has got issues. They started some time trying to arrest Khumalo some time back.
May I pass, Honorable Member? Honorable Skosana.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to ask the former Minister, Kele, the clarity that for the first time when you met Kat was in Beverly Hills Hotel. Are you confirming that under oath?
Sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chair.
May I pass? Charlie? May I pass?
Yes, thank you.
Honorable Nomvan.
Honorable Kusel.
We are resuming our proceedings. It's now 2 minutes after 14 hours. I'm allocating the SC 1 hour 30 minutes to conclude the questions. And then thereafter SC, we are going to break for 30 minutes between 3:30 and 16 hours. So when we come back at 16 hours, members should be ready, starting with members from the African National Congress. I will be allocating 1 hour 20 minutes for each of the, for the two speakers for each of the parties. That is inclusive of the full member and the alternate. 1 hour 20 minutes. So we will determine how far we run so that by the rise of the next day, we must have done a significant work. Thank you so much. SC, welcome back, General.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Chair, honourable members, General Kele. We were at the meeting at the high-end Beverly Hills Hotel when you met there with Mr. Mbongoshi and Mr. Matlala.
Yes.
So when you were asked by Mr. Mpongoshi to meet, or rather, let me ask you this: did he tell you that you were going to meet someone interesting, someone of interest, someone important? What did he tell you before you went to the Beverly Hills Hotel, or did you just go with him?
Well, he wanted to see me. He's a KZN boy, so it's December, I'm sure we're all in holiday. So I have met him before, Mabonga. So I have met him before. So he has I think he has not a private security company himself, Mabonga. And then he did come to me and said, look, you're out of government. If you're in Joburg, you can use my services to take you from here to there. Though I haven't used much of his services, but like a boy, I've said yes the once or twice. So Mabonga was quite easy, and we have been meeting with him.
So let me just...
So when he said want to see me, no many questions will follow from me to him.
And he comes in his private jet, did you say?
Who now?
Matlala?
I don't know how it came about. I don't know how it came about.
Oh, I thought I heard you said he... Yeah.
I think it does have a private jet. I think it does have a private jet because as he speaks, he's a person that would not have hours of coming in
waiting at the airport,
yeah,
in a lounge or in the public area, like us.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Not like you in the VIP lounge. But seriously, did you know of Matlala? Anything about him? Or did you know of him as a businessman, business person?
It's exactly what I'm saying, that I read about him 2 weeks before I met him, and I was saying to myself, when I continue to engage with him and I see him and I see his records, I ask myself, how did he manage to fly below radar for him to know? Because most of his kind, one would know before there is a story about him on the paper and the money. I didn't know him.
But now that you met him, what was your impressions of him? I mean, you've been involved in the police. I'm sure you have a sense better than us ordinary citizens about people you interact with, and especially a sense of, what they're doing. Is it the right thing or the wrong thing, or you at least have a suspicion about something? What were your impressions?
There will be two matters here, SC. As I've said, that he has really managed to fly below the radar. As I've said, that I would know Keke, I would know people like BP and other those guys. I know people like Mashobane from Ashratfield and all that. So I didn't. Now I know him. I have spoken to him. I have engaged him. I had somebody being interviewed from Mamelodi, saying he's a very good, kind person. They know he's a person that helps them. Looking at him from the very word go, remember, I've met here a person that I don't know has been arrested, has not been arrested. Looking at him, he looks a cool guy. As you definitely look at him, he looks a cool guy. Until you begin to hear, you begin to get records. For instance, I was looking at the withdrawn cases and all that kind of stuff, and I said, this one is too long. How does he manage to fly below all of us? Because withdrawn cases are done by courts, which means the police have taken him to court.
Yeah.
So, but as I've said, you begin to look him with a new eye than the person that you have ordinarily met.
Okay. Now, were you aware, or did you know, or were you involved in the award of this 360 million rand Tswane contract? Because that tender was awarded during your term as Minister of Police.
Well, I think there are billions of tens that are issued from the police.
But not this big.
I don't know, but I wouldn't say it can't happen. We might come back to that. I wouldn't say it can't be that big. I think there could be big, but I don't know. But looking at the operations and things that are done, it could be some money with the tenders. For instance, I would guess that the tender of buying cars is big. I don't know how much it would be. But when police buy cars, they buy cars in a big way. I would guess so. I think the other tender that would have been big is a tender of laboratories. Once upon a time, we had a serious problem about laboratories, the DNA in South Africa. It was a mess. And you discovered that 16 contracts were not renewed. And I don't know how much it would take to renew those things. The IT is quite big, the IT with the South African police. The guns, the bullets. Remember, the bullets are not only chasing criminals. There's a lot of bullets that are used for training. So I guess that will be. But that does not reduce this, that is big. But I would not absolutely say this is the biggest. I guess they are big, but this one also, especially for the individual, is quite big.
So when you met him, you didn't know, or you weren't aware that he had secured this 360 million rand tender?
Indeed, after I've read 2 weeks before I met him, I knew he had this tender.
So you did some research on him before you met him?
No, it was an article in the paper that he is the guy that is got links with Tembisa issues has again won this big tender with another government department, which happens to be the police. So it was an article somewhere. I can't remember.
I think that was the article that appeared in News 24 about Matlala.
Well, I can't remember the publication, but it was on the media.
But didn't that arouse or raise your suspicions about him? Because that's what the article suggests, is that this is a person, this is a guy, who's connected. Forgive me, I don't know exactly what the article said, but if I recall, it suggests that he is not clean, that he's shady. And here you, as a former minister of police, you go and meet such a person. And we know that he's come to meet you to ask you for assistance.
As I've said, that when I met him for the first time, I asked if he's Matlala, and I was not told by Mabonga that who am I meeting. So, again, I have read that stories, but the stories and the man that is being suspected would have to be confirmed by talking and engaging after we have engaged, rather than to say, I read the story from you and then I run away. Especially in the environment that we work. Sometimes these stories you want to follow because you want to see the elements of what you have heard, what you have seen.
Now, you say that is when he explained that he had been approached to fund a project by someone who aims to be the ANC president or deputy president, and the Minister Mkunu's name was mentioned.
Correct.
And that Brown Mkhotsi had met with him and Mr. Minister Mkunu. Why would they have mentioned that to you? You are now, even as we speak, I don't think, are you still active in the political arena? Why would they mention this specifically to you?
Who? Brown?
Matlala. Yes.
Because it says my name was mentioned. To say, we'll work well with you, so long we don't work with Zuma and Qede. In that particular meeting. So that's one reason. Once you see me, he realizes that it's being abused. But the second one is an affidavit that was to be prepared to arrest Sibia.
Yes.
Not Sibia. Kumalo. General Tumsan Kumalo. Too many because there are other Kumalos that were still coming. This is Tumsan Kumalo.
Just one moment, Honorable Malema.
No, Minister, I just want you to confirm that you are still active, because the question almost suggested that you are no longer politically active.
No, politically I'm active. I'm still a member of the National Executive Committee of the ANC, and still have some activities in the province where I come from.
Okay. So
Okay.
that part of the information that Matlala was funding.
SC. Just before we proceed, let me recognize the presence of the following two members of Parliament, Honorable Kobe from Action SA and Honorable Slepe from the MKP. Thank you so much, Honorable members, for giving yourself time to join our proceedings. You may proceed.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. So that would be of interest to you. This is a bit of political information that that Matlala is funding the ambitions of someone in the party. So that would be of interest to you.
Well, surely there would, because as an active member, I would have my preferences. But this information was not invited by me. But I would not say I don't want to hear it.
Okay. So now you're actually meeting him for the first time, and you're getting this information from Matlala. Now, surely your impressions, your perception of him must be changing. What are you thinking now after hearing this?
No, there are no perceptions that are changing. I've met a person that I do not know, has given me this information, and there is an action that I need to take. The action that I need to take is that the court, Khumalo should not go to court, because Khumalo going to court is not genuine. Is to put him there. He loses the case and is disciplined, and I guess the aim is to take him out of police, especially having come from the person that I knew. They were not very close, him and his peer. So I had to action that.
Now, Minister,
SC,
you...
there is Honorable James behind.
Thank you, Chair. It is just a clarity-seeking question, because I recall posing a question yesterday to Minister Senzo, asking him if he had met with Brown and with Cat to discuss a certain project about a campaign for president or deputy president. I told him that's part of your testimony, and he said it's a blatant no. So just clarity, because I heard you touching on it. Did you now say that Cat told you that there was indeed a meeting where Minister Senzo was present with Brown and himself?
They spoke about the project.
And spoke about the project for the ANC
Yes, it did.
president, indeed.
Yes, it
And
did.
the minister denied it yesterday.
Well, he really did tell me that.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
May we proceed? Honorable James, are you okay? May we proceed? Thank you. SC?
Thank you, Honourable Chair. General, you have so much of experience in the police portfolio. You're sitting opposite a very well-heeled person in a high-end hotel who's asking you to collude with him effectively to defeat the ends of justice. He's asking you for a favor to make sure that one of your best, maybe our best, police officers, Khumalo, must not conclude an investigation into him. Why didn't you get up and say, but I didn't come here for this. This is objectionable. This is outrageous. How did you respond to that?
Did I hear well when I said I spoke to Matlala to stop Khumalo investigating?
Yes.
No.
But I'm sorry, General, just so that you understand what I'm asking or putting to you clearly.
Okay.
What he's asking you is to break the law when he says you must do something for him. and he's telling you, you know, what Sabia wants to do. This involves very much the PKTT on the one hand and the Gauteng syndicate on the other hand, involving Molefe, Matlala, and he's sitting right in front of you.
SC, I don't know Matlala as we meet at Beverly.
Yeah.
By the way, Beverly is high end, but I eat breakfast every Sunday there. So to me, it's quite next door to me. Secondly, he doesn't talk to me about stopping him being raided or arrested. He talks to me being approached to do things so that Khumalo can be arrested.
Yes.
That's hence the affidavit to say Khumalo did not just raid, it was illegal, but not only that, the theft. Is Matlala working or through SBIA that is taking Khumalo to court? But Matlala does not want to face Khumalo in court because he doesn't want to jeopardize the relationship with the police since he has this tender from the police. It would be good, then Matlala realizes that he's being abused or used to achieve other ends rather than what was there as a raid on that particular day. So Matlala raises the issue that he would love that the matter that is going to court could be settled out of court, because going to court is not genuine. Going to court is to make sure that Khumalo is found wanting, that he will lose the case that he was unlawful. If then Khumalo loses the case, somebody who happens to be SBIA will then put discipline to him and be able to take him out of, or punish him or take him out of the organization.
Yes, General, it sounds to me, and I may not be alone in this room thinking like what I'm going to tell you, that he wants to draw you into a conspiracy to neutralize Khumalo. That's what it's about ultimately. Now, perhaps at the time, it didn't occur to you, or you weren't conscious of it.
No.
Because to be fair, because you then suggest, well, you must have a meeting with Khumalo, isn't it? Let me just read from your affidavit so that I don't put words in your mouth. You said, I advised Mr. Matlala that he needed to meet with Lieutenant General Khumalo to discuss the matter.
Indeed.
And the charges he was instructed to bring against him and the team that had raided his property on 6 December 2014. Now you, especially as Minister of Police, former Minister, better informed than the ordinary person, it's at least alleged that he's involved in criminal activity. And you would expect, especially that Khumalo was involved in the raid on his house on the 6th of December. So you should have been more aware than most of us that Matlala is trying to induce you to do something which is not lawful.
Well, SC, maybe that's correct, but my angle is that at the end of the day here is Khumalo who's going to be the last victim, and that is what I could not agree with. Hence, I got involved because if Khumalo loses the case that is going to court next week, he's getting disciplined. But if the case, that's why Matlala meeting Khumalo is to brief him about what Sibia has conspired against Khumalo. My angle is not saying don't rate Matlala. My angle is that, if anything, which I did not know that Matlala is being investigated and all that kind of thing. But I've got no angle of Matlala. My angle is this Khumalo who is put on a trap of going to court, understanding that it's taking somebody, and is not him, by the way, SC. It's not Khumalo that is taking Matlala to court. It's Matlala who's taking Khumalo to court for unlawful, which does not come from him, which he has been pushed through. So my angle here is that we can't have Khumalo that will go to court and lose and then get out of the system. That's my angle on this matter. But I don't deny that looking at this under angle would have benefited Matlala on it. But my sole focus here is that nobody should take Khumalo to court, not genuinely so, but to make sure that Khumalo becomes a victim at the end of the day.
Well, it also relates to a huge tender, 360 million rand tender that had been awarded to him. And now he says, look, I don't want this award to be prejudiced or, as it turned out, terminated because of my involvement in this issue involving Khumalo, involving Sabia, the fight between them. So please help me out. That's the nub of this story here.
Well,
that's why you've been called to this meeting.
Well, two things. Indeed, if this contract is not cancelled, it will benefit, no doubt about it. But that's not my angle. My angle is that Khumalo, I don't know what Kholelo part means, but is not glued to the problem. Khumalo, that my angle here and my gist of here, I want to believe that if there was no Khumalo and him going to court about this matter would have ended there. Even if maybe it was a raid from other people that I do not know, I would not have pursued. The issue here for me, SC, is Khumalo.
But we know you didn't go and speak to Khumalo about it.
I did speak to Khumalo.
When? Afterwards?
Yes, I did.
Because I would have thought you would have said, look, hold it.
No.
Because now you only have one side of the story.
No, I did.
From Matlala.
I did speak to Khumalo.
Yes.
About his going to court, and going to court is what Matlala says as planned with Sibia. Hence, Sibia pushes Matlala to take Khumalo to court. So I did. And Khumalo was going to raise it with his lawyers to see how it would go about. Because the issue now was that him being taken to court is not genuine that he's being taken to court because of illegal, but he's being taken to court so that he becomes a victim and takes out of the system. But I did speak to Khumalo. What I do not know is that if Khumalo did speak to Matlala, I don't know that. But the case was dropped, and I guess lawyers did speak. But whether Khumalo did speak to Matlala, because Khumalo would have known more about the rate and pursuance of Matlala than me. Maybe without telling me, he would not speak to. But I did suggest that what Matlala is briefing me about, he must brief Khumalo. I did say so.
But it still even after this meeting or this encounter, and after you had spoken to Kumalo, surely, or let me just pause at that point. After you spoke to Kumalo, after this meeting, did Kumalo not explain to you why the raid happened?
No, it didn't.
Didn't you ask him about it?
No, I didn't ask about the rate, and it didn't tell me about the rate why they were raiding.
But I thought that was the whole reason why Matlala wanted you to intervene and speak to Kumalo. He's not telling you, and I'm reading from paragraph 69, you said, Mr. Matlala explained that Lieutenant General Sabia had written an affidavit on his behalf, alleging that during the raid on his home, Mr. Matlala's Rolex watch was stolen by members of the PKTT, seconded to the second Gauteng County Intelligence Operations. However, the Rolex was in Mr. Matlala's possession and had not been stolen. So I thought you would tell Kumalo, look, this is what I've been told.
My angle here was that Kumalo was being lured to trouble. To say taking him to court has got nothing to do with illegality of the raid, but is used as a transit towards his being disciplined, because he will have to lose the case in court, and then his seniors, which happens to be, because he reports to this Deputy National Commissioner, who is SABC, who is this interior motive of sending Matlala. But Matlala says, now I realize that I'm being used. So please tell Kumalo that it's not me, it's Sibia. So the case that is taken by Matlala, he wants to drop it so that Kumalo is not taken to this grinding machine by Sibia through Matlala. I'm saying the angle of me talking and entertaining this matter is that angle of Kumalo telling him that is not Matlala, but there is somebody behind Matlala.
Honorable Nomvalo.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chair. Chair, I just need some clarification from the General. I think if I heard him correctly, he said that Matlala made an indication to him that he is worried that if he continues with laying a charge against Kumalo, that might put his contract, or it might expose his contract to danger. Now, what I need clarity on, General, is what were you concerned about here? Were you concerned about Matlala losing a tender, or Kumalo being unfairly treated? I just need clarity on that.
Maybe let's repeat the words of Matlala to say, I don't want to go in conflict with the police because I don't want to lose. I don't want the conflict with the police because I have this contract. So I don't want to lose because I'm fighting with the police. I'm saying, Honorable Member, my concern was Kumalo issue being taken to this machine with an understanding that he needs to lose at the end of the day. But I'm not denying that Matlala himself could have benefited in that process of saving his contract. But that's not the main issue here. The main issue is Kumalo that is taken to court, and he must lose the court and that discipline and taken out of the system.
I'll pursue it during my turn, Chair.
Thanks, Honourable Chair. General Kele, did I understand you to say that you read this News 24 article about Matlala before the meeting?
Yes.
Now that article is at page 71, it's BC 8.
Page
70.
81.
Yeah, BC 8, 71 and 72.
'71.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm there.
So before you met with Matlala, you would have had some idea of who this is.
Yes, after reading this article.
And this article is what one can describe as quite unflattering.
Quite
Unflattering.
unthreatening.
Yeah. We're not going to, we've had a lot of the dictionary in this hearing so far. It's an article which is not kind to Mr. Matlala.
Oh, yes.
It portrays him as someone who is involved in murky dealings. Of course, I don't rely on this article for what's contained in it. But if I had to read this article before meeting someone, and I do meet him, even if I didn't know I was going to meet him, I'd probably jump up immediately and leave. I mean, this is just randomly look at it's about the Tembisa Hospital fraud investigation. He's now entangled in a case involving the kidnapping of a woman and a child. Then it talks about following a raid on his home. Then in court papers, so he's involved there, there's the 360 million. Then it talks about Kobile, Dikhale and her 9-year-old son were abducted. And then it ends with with a reference to the late Babita Diokaran, the late but famous whistleblower. But 3 weeks after that, she was killed. So the whole thrust of the article, quite frankly, portrays him as a dark character.
I agree.
You met with him?
Maybe, SC, we don't come from the same world of understanding matters. I said to you, the call comes from prison. It tells me that in a certain lodge at Tulundi, there are people who are sitting there with the AKs. And they are ready to kill this ex-Ingos. And I say, I speak to provincial commissioner. He goes there and says, he finds the information as is. I could have said to a person who's calling from prison, don't phone me. Don't call me. And Inkosi dies.
Okay.
If there are few criminals, that you would know, they are top. If that criminal phones you, he phones me, and I know him, to say, SCRNs will be assassinated, and I say, look, you are a criminal. Don't phone me, don't talk to me about any other things. And you are assassinated. And I come to tell the story that, by the way, this criminal phoned me. And I did not do anything. I agree. There are meetings that you would do let me tell you one story of a person that I met who is a king of Zamazamas. Actually, there are two Zamazamas. One, I forget his surname, is a Soto guy because this guy, Zamazamas are mostly are also run from Lesotho. I met him. Later, that guy is arrested. But he wants to meet me to give me information. Okay? The second thing that could not be made direct, there is a guy called LL. I don't know if you know a guy called LL, SC. His name is Louis Leuwenberg. He's a king of Zamazamas. He cleans diamonds and everything. He's millions and millions. He finds MKP. He maybe finds Baba and through him MKP because he paid 500,000. He paid 500,000 for the case for the private case to be taken to court. I think taking case privately, you pay. He paid that money. And he has been arrested. He's in prison as I speak for running diamond. He has appeared in court, and MK has been in court supporting him every day when he goes to court. Now, I don't know whether they don't know that, but the crux of the matter is that you can meet somebody and get later how deep that person is. But if you work in security, SC, you can't say, I can't meet you, because that kind of information from that person could be the lifesaver of many other things. So, understand where I come from. By the way, I do meet criminals. I do. And the information can be broader used than not having met him. Others, there are those that are obvious, like the Cape Town one. Really, I can't meet Medoc. I can't meet Nasif. I can't meet those guys. But those, because you know how far have they gone, it might not help you. You can even, those guys say, meet so and so and send the officer to that person. But some of these guys will refuse to say, I'm not going to give this information because if I give this information to somebody different, it might come back to bite me. But this is a world that we live in from the work that we are doing or we were doing SC.
So, if because of time, General, if I can just move on. So, you met Matlala again several times after that?
Yes.
Why?
This question of politics, Matlala, me, and Mkhunu has come on play. Because Matlala begins to feed me things that either Mohodzi or Mkhunu, they are fitting to him. Basically, some of them, they are targeted to Khumalo. I must come up front. I've worked with Khumalo. I've seen his work. I think, I don't know his dark side, but he's one, if he does have one, but he's one corp that I will protect. Khumalo. He's one corp that I will protect. So, and it's like Mkhwanazi himself. For me, he remains a good cop. People have asked that he has spoken things about you. I said, separate a good cop to the human being, because that is a good cop. It doesn't mean he's a perfect human being. We can come back to that. But there are those people that I will protect, knowing very well how much are they contributing towards the proper working of the organization called the police, but also knowing very well that if they get hurt, it might hurt the organization. So if I have any way of protecting and helping on that, I will do. And Khumalo is one of those people. So Matlala kept coming with information about me and about Khumalo. So if he says, there is something new that has come up, here it is, I will definitely go and listen. That will include, don't know if I'm going too far. That will include him telling me that he has been given an article, SC.
Yes,
He has been given an article that's talk about me and Masimula. That article is a 2012 article from a guy called Pandey. Pandey was arrested in KZN for the inflation of the accommodation of 2010 accommodation. So now it goes Matlala stroke Mkhotsi. But the theory of them getting is that Matlala tells me that Mkhunu is preparing to arrest me for having got in the corruption of the 2010 tender. Here is an evidence. Somebody will have to tell me how does that article find its way, either Mkhotsi stroke Matlala. But looks, the theory of it is that Matlala is being assured that Cele will be arrested. Remember, by now, it is known that by Mkhunu that Matlala links with Cele, but Matlala has been told that he should not mix up with Cele. So now he is told that this article will make me to arrest your man.
So why would Minister Mkhunu want you to be arrested?
You can answer that best.
Sorry, General.
You can answer that best.
But this is what you're hearing from Matlala?
Yes.
So he also peddles this information about Minister Mkhunu, about Toshan Pandey. So this is all part of this.
That article arrests me and Masimula because we were involved in corruption of 2010. So this is 2025. This article came in 2012, where this guy made the claim. Now it finds its way to Matlala stroke Mkhotsi.
And you say in paragraph 74 of your statement that after that first meeting, there were several other encounters with Mr. Matlala in which he explained this project. Is that the project involving Mkhotsi and Minister Mkhunu?
Of him becoming a president or deputy president.
Which he's working
I don't know which one, but Matlala also didn't know whether it's president or deputy president.
So you can't recall exact dates of these meetings or encounters?
No, definitely. Remember, SC, I'm not working now. I don't have the diary where these things checking. I'm no more working. I'm not in the government. I'm just a South African. So I'm not going to be checking the date, when do I see you, and I don't have any PA to ask, when did Matlala, PA is not even there to talk about Matlala. So really, if you want me dates, I'll struggle to get dates. When even this one of coming here now, I was reminded by my wife. So she still helps me. But I didn't tell her about Matlala's wife. No, I didn't tell her about Matlala's date.
Okay. Now, Or give us more or less, give us a month. January, February, March of 2025. You can't remember which month you met?
Meeting him.
Yes. After the Beverly Hills.
I think we did meet in January. I think we did meet in January.
Okay.
I think we did meet in January.
All these encounters?
No, not all these encounters. Not the encounters. The encounters were intense in January after we've met the Kumalo thing, and at a certain given point, I don't know when, the issue of the irregular tender then comes. Maybe one major thing that happens here, Mabonga died. Mabonga, the person who links me and he dies, he gets shot at a place called what, Low, in Gauteng. Mabonga was a rash guy, almost close to the dead, and Bangazita would know his father. So was a very rash guy. I remember that I was told that the day he was shot, he was with 12 bodyguards. He died with 2 bodyguards in Sentin. So while I speak to Kat, Mabonga is part of facilitation of the meetings. Okay. Now, as Mabonga dies, I don't have number for Kat, and it doesn't have number for me. And the one question that was asked by the journalist is that Kat is my friend. He asked 2 things: that is my friend and a business partner. That is a News 24 journalist. I said to the journalist, I don't have a friend called the Cat. I don't know his house. I don't know his wife. He doesn't know my house. He doesn't know my wife. Doesn't know my family and all. So it can't be my friend. He's an acquaintance because we talk to him about issues. Secondly, the journalist argues that he sent the message to the management of Capitac, where he has this flat stroke penthouse, saying to the management, this is my friend, Begdel is my friend and a business partner. If he comes there, please open the place to sleep. I must admit, SC, it would be nice to get a free place to sleep. It would be nice to go to Pretoria and sleep free when you don't work. Even if you work, you would have taken it, but then report and declare that has happened. But it's not true that I'm his business partner. I say to the journalist, that's an easy question to deal with. Go to the register, those people, property, and those register business. Pull where I've registered as a business partner and say, you are a business partner of Matlala. So don't ask me something that you can prove very easy. So, simply put, I did say to journalists, he's not my friend, I'm not the business partner. So, I must raise an issue here about the journalist. I guess he's a good journalist, but I wonder if he's not having a narrative in this matter. Whatever narrative that comes from. For instance, the journalist phones me and says, "You have phoned Matlala 10 times. I says, "Yes, I have." And he says, "You have sent him messages." I said, "No, I don't send messages." But the journalist writes the story of 10 times. He used terms frantic, whatever. But he also says, "I have had 100 times encounter through the messages." When I have told the journalist that I don't send the messages, that's the first one that I begin to say, this journalist, and we had a problem because not as honorable member Cameroon. He was treating me like a schoolboy, this journalist. And we have a serious encounter. When the journalist come back to me now to write the story of the meeting with Kat at Zimbabwe, because I had a meeting with Kat at Zimbabwe.
You met him on the 18th of March
Yes.
at Zimbabwe.
Yes, at
So
Zimbabwe.
you've met him again.
Let me take Honorable Malem. I think he has a follow-up on the statement that you have made, General.
Thanks, Chair. General, Mabonga, apart from being known as a child...
Come again, that.
Mabonga.
Okay, Mabong.
Yeah, Mabonga.
Yes.
Apart from being known as a child of some taxi, what, in KZN, he was a well-known thug in Gauteng, a criminal of note. Was that known to you at that time?
Well, I know that he has been arrested at some time. Criminal of note, not exactly, but arrested. Yes, I know that he had a criminal record, honorable member.
Proceed, SC.
Sorry, you met Mr. Matlala several times since. And you also were made aware of an email. Sorry, it's because you don't send WhatsApps. It's a WhatsApp.
Okay.
From Brown Mogotsi on the 22nd of January, where he says, and I'm just reading, it's on page 27 of the annexures. Sorry, it's in the body of your affidavit, sorry. On page 27. You'll see the name Dlamini, but that's also another name for Matlala. Yeah. So you'll see at the. Are you okay?
SC, I want to bring in Honorable Nomvalo just before you start.
Yeah, no, I just need some clarification, Chair, because I don't want to assume that the minister meant what he wrote here on his affidavit, because he might write something and say something else which does not accord with what he has written here. When he was saying that it would have been nice to sleep in a free accommodation, was he actually confirming that indeed he slept in Matlala's apartment?
Yes,
or
I
flat?
did. Yes, I did.
So, okay.
Yeah, I did twice.
Oh, you slept twice. Okay, thank you.
Are you fine?
Fine, Chair.
Thank you. SC, let's proceed.
I was trying to follow a sequence, Honourable Chair, and get there. But I was still, General, referring you to page 27 of your statement, which is this.
Page 27.
Yeah, what's up from Matlala. This is a WhatsApp from Mokgotsi to Matlala on the 22nd of January this year.
Page 27.
Yeah.
On my main statement.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you'll see in that WhatsApp you are mentioned there several times. In the first paragraph, there's a reference to the 26 million tender, and they state here, it must be a mistake, but it says current Minister of Police Bheki Cele's signature is on the tender approval documents. But your signature is on the tender approval documents right at the end. But on the 25th of January, you weren't the current Minister of Police.
No, this document is when I was a National Commissioner, not Minister. Is when I was a National Commissioner in 2010,
sorry.
dealing with accommodation of the police for 2010.
Thank you for correcting me.
I was signing documents as a National Commissioner, not as a Minister.
Yeah, and because they go on to talk about in collusion with the current National Police Commissioner, General Masimula.
Masimula
Yeah.
was head of policing, visible policing then.
Let me rather jump to the end of this WhatsApp, which says Cele was putting a lot of pressure for the then acting commissioner, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, to finalize these appointments. So just explain what this is all about. Is this the 2010?
What is happening? Can you read again?
At the bottom of the WhatsApp, Cele was putting a lot of pressure for the then acting commissioner, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, to finalize these appointments. It was during this meeting whereby they all struck a deal that Balushan and Perumal will make all the aforementioned cases to disappear, as well as Cele will be protected from prosecution for the 2010 World Cup tender corruption.
Where is Cele this time? Mkhwanazi is acting because Cele is suspended.
Where in his references?
Mkhwanazi is acting because Cele is suspended.
Yeah, no.
Now, Cele from suspension, runs from suspension to come and put pressure on the acting National Commissioner to work on this thing.
No, it appears that they are reviving this issue of the 2010 tender, which you're aware of.
I'm aware of
You're
it.
aware of that,
Yeah.
that tender. But they're reviving that, and this is what you say in your affidavit at at paragraph 76. I understand that this was the text message that was to be used to try and bring charges against me. I do not know why bringing charges against me was part of the project discussed by Minister Mfunu and Brown Mokgotsi with Mr. Matlala. Since I'm no longer involved in government, I suspect, however, that it may relate to my continued involvement in politics in KZN, which is relevant for the upcoming ANC election.
I affirm. That's my statement.
But isn't the real reason why they, if it is the case that they want to draw you, suck you into this by reviving 2010 stuff, that they wanted you to put pressure on General Khumalo and his ongoing investigations into, amongst others, Matlala, Molefe, Mogotsi, this whole syndicate?
I say, don't go too far. I don't know Mogotsi, I don't know Molefe. I know Matlala. So if you pull them together, I might get confused because I don't know.
But you know, you've met Matlala.
Yeah.
Yes, and he's telling you that.
But I don't know Molefe.
Yeah.
I've seen him getting the bail now and again. I've read that he has been arrested in London, but he still gets the bail after bail after bail. So, yes, and stories how he gets the bail, that somebody was paid for the bail and the police knew that he was going to pay so long he pays that person. So I don't know. I don't know Mogotsi either. I only know that he comes from Mahikeng. This thing, it might be an issue, remains a suspicion to me, that is got to do with the processes of the African National Congress conference. But a person who can affirm what's an issue is a person who wants me arrested using this 2012 and sending these things and promising Matlala that I'll be arrested soon. So that's a person that can explain.
Yeah.
Mine could be the suspicion that maybe the suspicion that I'm not supporting the cause of somebody becoming a president or deputy president. Maybe I'm supporting other people. That one is mine. I'm not going to tell you.
They say you must disclose that you're under oath. Okay, let's just move on. But you meet Matlala again in March. On the 18th of March, you meet him at Zimbabwe Estate, also in Durban.
Indeed.
And then you go on to say at paragraph 77, initially believed we were meeting at his residence, but I later learned that Hlangwani Morgan Maumela owned the property. Mr. Maumela is currently the subject of an investigation by the Hawks and the SIU concerning the extraction of 2.3 billion from Tembisa Hospital.
Okay.
At the time you say of the visit to you were unaware that it was actually belonged to Mr. Maumela. I received numerous queries from a journalist, Jeff Wicks, concerning my relationship with Maumela. I can confirm that I do not have any relationship with Maumela.
I meet Matlala because now we're engaged on this presidential thing and me and all that, but talk other things. One thing that took me aback in the meeting of Zimbabwe is when I saw his protection guys. And I began to say that looks like there are faces I know here. What nearly made me fall down is when he told me that some of those guys, 23 of them, has recruited them from Special Task Force of the Army. I said to myself, what is this? He has taken 23 of the Special Task Force of the Army to guard him.
They're even recruiting some of our best, highly trained officers.
Let's say I'm giving you the story that scared me. Why I'm scared of this story is because I've spoken to Nhlanhla earlier on and gave me the information that we have lost 56 members of the Special Task Force of Police to the taxi industry. 56. Now, I'm told that to train one member of the Special Task Force is 1.1 million to be all-rounder. One. We have lost 56 to the taxi industry. Maybe there where I threaten you of knowing. But I've got two issues here. That I can't have such a production to the private security. That's the first fear. The second fear is that looks like we're increasing the capabilities of the private security versus the state. Because I don't care how many you send, there will be a serious battle between 56 guys in the tax industry with the 20 guys you send of the Special Task Force. So it's something that must be,
Yes, General?
It's something that must be corrected, Chair. Indeed, Masimula and me, we engaged the taxi guys in KZN to say, bring back our men. They say, we pay them better. We pay them better. Talk to them. I say, guys, can we go back home? They say, Minister, we love the page. National Commission, we love the page, but we don't eat the page. Maybe that's one thing that we'll have to see what we do with our people that have high capabilities so that we keep them in a proper way. Maybe that's one case that as legislators will deal with. So I go back, Commissioner and I will go back and we discuss to say, Commissioner, we have a leeway here of dealing with this 56. We had 3 meetings with them. The last meeting was in HR where we were preparing to bring them back. Not all of them that came back, but a big chunk came back. The leeway was that special task guys, both army and police, they have a special allowance. The special allowance started same level, both of them, at 6,000 some years ago. Soldiers have moved to quite a high, I don't know whether to say the figure where they've moved. They've moved there as a special allowance. And the police have stayed there at the bottom. So we agreed with the National Commission that move them up where they are, which is more than 20,000 from 6,000. And then agreed, and they said, Minister, with pleasure, if you're taking care of us, we'll go back home. By the time I left, so they were being processed, quite several of them, they were going back to the police. Well, I heard Minister Mkhunu said he has fixed the matters of the special forces. No, that process started when Kele was there. But it was going to start with special forces, goes with the NIU and the CATs. CATs are not too many, and then goes to the TROT, that few that are still there. Now, with that process, SC, comes information that 23 of the army now are in the payroll of a private guy called Matlala. Anyway, I began to see them at the funeral, Honorable Malema. I began to see them at the funeral where we were together. I said, I know these voices, but at that funeral there were more guns and flowers.
Which funeral is that?
That was Mswazi. The guy called him Mswazi Mnisi, who was a taxi guy. So there were more guns and flowers. And I said to them, what is everyone you were hitting?
It's Guns and Roses.
Maybe, but there were more guns. So because it was a big guy in the taxi industry, many of taxi guys, they came with helicopters in that funeral. They did not drive. Honorable Julius will remember there were many helicopters. I asked some of them, why did you use helicopters? They say no, because he was buried in his farm. You had to drive through the bush. So it was not any other thing, was to make sure that they go there. So you could see that this private security is taking the capabilities of the state. So somebody had to do something with it. And Matlala is part of him increasing his own private capability. I don't know where that is arrested now. I don't know where those guys are that have left the special task force of the army. Remember, while they train similar, but when chips are really down, those are the guys that you bring in. And they're in the private hand.
Yeah, so General, what you describe is most disturbing, isn't it? It's high level crime, sophisticated, even buying off or inducing some of our top police and army, specially trained officers, to actually employ them on their side. And obviously they're involved in what is clearly a criminal enterprise. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't have that evidence that they're involved in what is criminal.
For what purpose would they want these people to be surrounded by people
Well,
that's heavily
they call
armed?
them their protectors, but it's not only them here, SC, that could be blamed. The state also must take some form of responsibility. You can't train those people. I usually call them human machines and don't take care of them. I blame them for going and all that. I don't know what are they taught to do in the private arm, but the state will have to look at them. You train me highly, you keep me highly. Simple and straightforward.
So just to continue what I think, what emerges from...
Honorable Skosana.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted clarity from the witness. The Cat Matlala, you said you met him in Beverly Hills in December last year, if I remember well.
Correct.
And then you say at the funeral, if I hear you well, hence I'm looking for a clarity from you. There were a lot of guns than flowers. And was Matlala there?
No, I didn't see him.
So the security company, you don't know what security company was there?
There were many taxi guys. These guys are split. Those taxi, they just take. I think they pay them well. But they are not taken by one taxi boss. They're taken by many. So a person that, and I'm sure you know the person that was being buried there.
Yeah, I know he is.
Yeah, I'm sure you know him very well. Sure you know him very well. I'm sure you also know a person that is at war with.
Yeah,
you know him too. So that is buried. So all these guys, they come because I guess everybody that is in the taxi industry knew in that particular day who was buried. I was there in the funeral. The Honorable Malema was there. Honorable Figile Mbalule was there. And 3 of us, we spoke at the funeral. We all spoke at the funeral. So it was a very high profile. I haven't checked, but I might suspect that Matlala could be there, but I don't have that information, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Chair.
You may proceed, SC.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. So, Minister, you seem to suggest that it's understandable that some of these initially or former police officers military officers, highly trained, at 1.2 million rand a shot that taxpayers spend on training them, that it's understandable that they cross the floor and go and work for these syndicates because they get more pay, and that, are you saying that we should, to stop this, we should pay our officers more? Is this one of the ways in which we can stop this criminal activity? And why do you, I think you also mentioned that that you went back to actually negotiate the return of some of these officers back, to integrate them back into the police force.
I would not agree with you.
A huge risk.
I would not agree with you that they work for syndicates. Especially the police task force are recruited by the taxi industry. Those are not syndicates. There might be a lot of criminality there, but to call the taxi industry syndicates, having not have that information, will be a problem. There is one thing I know with the taxi industry, is a lot of death and a lot of guns on it. I said I was a provincial MEC for transport. I spent a lot of time dealing with them. So I would sit with you here, SC, have a meeting, and then I say tomorrow we'll come back and finish the meeting, and your chair will be empty. Next day, your chair will be empty because you are gone forever. So that's what happens with that industry. Anybody who understands that industry is a brutal. There is a question they ask there. If you want to buy taxis, do you have a stick to protect the job? That's a gun. So if you are going to be in the taxi industry, you must have a gun too. That's how it goes. So I would not then say taxi industry are syndicates, but I wouldn't say that those recruited by those that are associated with syndicates like Matlala are not abused and used for that. But I would not sit here and say taxi industry guys are syndicates.
May we take Honorable Malem?
Minister, you'll agree that there is a difference between personal protectors and inkabi. Because when a person is employed to look after you as a high profile or a taxi person, that person does exactly that. And there are people who are hired to kill people. And that is the purpose of hiring inkabi for that purpose. Am I correct?
You are correct, Honorable Member. But it does happen that the very same protectors are used sometimes as inkabi and come back to their job. But there is a pool of people that are there just calling their price. There is that group of people. So that's why, and there are people that genuinely protect their principals. They call them their principals, even in taxi industry and all that. And I would not call those people syndicates.
Thank you. Yeah, perhaps I shouldn't generalize, I certainly don't or didn't intend to portray the whole of the taxi industry. They are organized. We know here in Cape Town anyway, where I stay, there's two, Kodeta and Kodesa, and the two organizations. So they are organized. But obviously it would be irresponsible to say they're involved in organized crime. They are however involved in a fierce battle, but they do also a great public service transporting our people. But it was more in the context of this picture that this narrative that comes from your evidence, that you meet this high-powered guy in December. A guy, just knows about this raid with one of your top, when you were minister, one of your top policemen, General Kumalo, wants you to do a favor, and then you meet him. You've read this article about him, and clearly I think you had agreed that it doesn't paint a nice picture about him, at the very least. Raises suspicions.
I would agree.
And then you go to a funeral, and then you go to Zimbabwe, and then you didn't know that this is another, well, according to the media anyway, notorious person's house. So Minister, you either you unwittingly, unknowingly are drawn into this web of dark criminality, or you go in there with your eyes open. Which one is it?
Let me again put some light on it. Funeral has got nothing to do with Kat Matlala. So I didn't go to the funeral because of Kat Matlala and all that. It was Mr. Mnisi, called Swazi, who died in hospital. So because I have worked with him in dealing with the problem of taxi industry. So as a person I know. So it's got nothing to do with Matlala at that particular time. Though I have learned SC and Honorable Malem, that his security has also looked after Mswas of Kat Matlala, which puts a clash between Matlala and Joe. I'm sure we know Joe. And Joe, it comes from there, and they all come from Mpumalanga. They all come from Mpumalanga. That's why he knows them very well. And there would be issue, and there would be stories about them, and even the honorable Skosana would know the stories, but we still meet them. But we know the stories. We know the story of Ucho Nsibanyon, that everybody talks, but we still meet and we still talk. But I want to go to Zimbabwe, because the article says I went to, who's the guy? Maumela, yeah. He says I went to the house of Maumela, and then Maumela gave me the code. I don't know why would you dramatize having a code of entering Zimbabwe, because in Zimbabwe you enter with code. Now, why should it come as a secret weapon that you had a code? Anybody who goes to Zimbabwe enters through the code of the owner there. And then I go there to talk, and then I'm in this beautiful house, the beach house.
It looks like you, since your retirement, you're living it up.
Not necessarily.
You in high-end Beverly Hills,
I saw it
Zimbabwe.
once. No, Zimbabwe, I've been there several times, not because of... I've gone there to see many people. Minister Nkosazana sometimes stay there. I used to go there. The king has stayed there. I've gone to... So it's nothing wonderful about seeing Cat at Zimbabwe. I have been in Zimbabwe to see people. I've had conferences at Zimbabwe, one of the top hotels and all that. But the story I want to make, the journalist leaves the message to say, I went to see Cat at Zimbabwe, which is not a secret. It's not a secret, it's got nothing to secret. And then he writes something to say the house was Maumela. I didn't know. The house, Cat told me that he had 2 houses in Zimbabwe. So this is one of these houses. So I heard it from the journalist that the house was Maumel. But the journalist